Niccolo Campriani of Italy qualified first. Here he is on the left with Sherbetsevic of Belarus. In the end, though, Campriani takes gold with a score of 698.4. Jae-Chul Yu of Korea silver with 696.
This concludes the victory ceremony for men's 10 meters air rifle individual.
Niccolo Campriani is a three-time Olympic and three-time Summer Universiade champion, having established himself as one of the world's premier sport shooters over the past decade. The Italian athlete from Florence won 3 gold medals at the 2011 Shenzhen Summer Universiade. In the same year that he was a nominee for the Capital One Academic All-America First Team, an honor bestowed upon the top 15 student athletes in American colleges. Campriani built upon his Universiade success 1 year later, shooting his way to gold and silver medals at the London 2012 Olympic Games, a performance that he improved upon at Rio 2016, winning gold medals in both the 50-meter three-position rifle and 10-meter air rifle events. Now retired from competition, Campriani is the founder of Make a Mark, an ambitious project with the aim of introducing and mentoring refugees and forcibly displaced persons in elite sport. The program is already producing results, as Campriani has helped 2 members of his first class of athletes to qualify in sport shooting for the Tokyo 2020 Olympic Games. Hello and welcome to another edition of the FISU University Legends Interview Series. I'm Brian Pinelli. And joining us now from the Olympic capital in Lausanne, Switzerland, is the 3-time Olympic and 3-time Summer Universiade champion, Niccolo Campriani. Hello, Niccolo. How are you doing today?
Ciao. Hi, everyone. Yeah, no, doing great. Getting ready for the games.
Thank you for joining us here on the FISU Summer Universiade Legends Interview Series / podcast. So thank you very much. We appreciate your time. I'm excited to get to Make a Mark and your Universiade experience. But speaking of Tokyo 2020, I know you're there in Lausanne. What are things like these days in the lead up to these games rapidly approaching?
Very intense, as you might expect. I guess, I competed in 3 different Olympic Games since Beijing 2008. And, 1 month to go before the opening ceremony is always a very, very special time, not just of your sport career, but of your life. And in a way, I have the chance now to get ready for my 4th Olympic Games. I won't be competing there, but it's still a lot of preparation going into it. I will be there in different roles as a coach, as IOC staff, and as a former athlete, I guess. It's a very special time, and I guess a lot of the learnings that I did as an athlete, I'm reenacting them now, trying to make sure that I get to Tokyo with the energy level high enough, because it will be intense there as well. Just very careful on managing myself, I guess.
Sure. So you retired after Rio 2016. I believe you started the Make a Mark project in 2019. Things have come a long way in a short period of time, Niccolo. Congratulations. I guess I'm wondering, what was the motivation? What was the inspiration behind this Make a Mark project that you founded?
Well, look, I was definitely very much inspired by the initiative of the IOC, bringing 10 refugee athletes competing in 3 sports in Rio. And I knew there was going to be another team in Tokyo. I wanted to contribute. As an Italian, the refugee cause is something very close to my heart.
It's tricky to put the word shooting next to the word refugees. But if meditation would be a sport, it would be shooting. I'm gonna teach them how to listen to their bodies, their thoughts, their emotions. And yes, we're gonna do that with an air rifle.
I believe that my role as an Olympic champion didn't end with the last shot of the last competition. I still had a role to play, and then I did. I leveraged pretty much on my network. So reached out to my sponsors, even the opponents, anybody that helped me throughout my sport career, and asked them to help me one more time. And we collected all the sport equipment that was needed. Everything else was fundraising, and then we were good to go.
Congratulations, Niccolo. You've recently qualified 2 of your first class of athletes in sport shooting for Tokyo 2020. I can only imagine how complex, how intricate sport shooting is, and to get up to a high level in a short period of time. But Madi Yovari and Luna Solomon will go to Tokyo 2020. Madi will represent the Afghanistan, his native in Afghanistan. And Luna will be a member of the IOC's second refugee team. This has to be a huge honor. Tell me about working with these athletes and achieving this benchmark in a short period of time.
Yeah, it's look, it has been a challenge within a challenge. On one side, we had to reach the minimum qualifying score in 1 year, a little bit more than that, but yeah, it was a very ambitious goal. They both did, becoming eligible to be selected. And then we had to deal with the pandemic, training in isolation, simulating competition with people from the other side of the planet, as much as possible, try to bring competition into training. But in the end, I'm very proud of them, of the journey, and I know that Tokyo will be a very special experience for them. I want to believe that this is just a stepping stone towards something more.
This is very interesting and especially cool. If I understand correctly, Madi will be using the same air rifle that you used to win the gold medal in Rio 2016.
Yeah, we were one air rifle short, and we needed extra equipment. The idea at the beginning was to select 1 boy, 1 girl. Then we ended up with 1 boy, 2 girls, and so I needed an extra air rifle, and I had to write this email to the Olympic Museum, to whom I had donated my air rifle from Rio only a few months before, and and asked if I could borrow it, if I could have it back. They will take it back after Tokyo, and the beauty, I guess, there will be even more of a meaning behind that rifle. So yeah, 2 Olympic Games.
It's for a pretty good reason asking it back from the Olympic Museum. So glad to hear that, Niccolo. Best of luck to you and the athletes. Let's jump back. Hard to believe, but it's the 10-year Universiade, 10-year anniversary of the Summer Universiade in Shenzhen, China, 2011. I know you also competed at the Summer Universiade in Bangkok in 2007, but looking back to Shenzhen, what was that experience like in your career? I know you had already competed at the Beijing 2008 Olympic Games. So obviously you had that experience, but what did this mean for your career to win these 3 gold medals in Shenzhen? And what was the overall Universiade experience like for you?
We're not used to compete in multi-sport events in general. Now we have the European Games, but the first one was in 2015. So before that, to be honest, that was probably the closest thing that I had to simulate, the Olympic Village more than anything. It was really the Universiade. So yeah, no, it was a very it's a special feeling. I mean, you have the amazing opportunity of living in a village, meeting finally athletes of other sports, not just other countries, but it's just very different communities, and you can do that without going through the whole pressure of being in Olympic Games. To be honest, is something that I enjoyed it quite a lot.
And this is so interesting to me, Niccolo. Now, as an Italian student athlete, you started your bachelor's degree in the United States at West Virginia University, the Mountaineers, for people that don't know the nickname. So, tell us about that experience going to the U.S. and, both competing and studying there as an Italian.
Yeah, so I left Florence to go to Morgantown, West Virginia. And,
a little bit of a change, right?
It's a bit of a cultural shock, but it was incredible. I mean, it was one of the most important life experience I ever done, just to live by myself overseas, far away from my family. It was a massive challenge, and just a unique growth opportunity. And on the sports side, I had the chance to work with a very, very good sports psychologist who was professor at the West Virginia University in the psychology department, but who was also Olympic champion in shooting in 1984. I went to that Olympic final in London with a lot of tools at my disposal. I was ready to use them all, and having a plan B, plan C, plan D, which is exactly what you need for an Olympic final, which is very tricky situation.
Now, Niccolo, I want to know, and maybe it's a dangerous question asking an engineer, but if you could put it into layman's terms so I and others can understand. I mean, what are some of the attributes? What are some of the qualities? What does it take in 200 words or less to become an elite level sports shooter?
I think that it's not about being emotionless. It's it's really about actually being very much in contact with your feeling, in contact with your emotions. It's not about having fears or anxiety, this is very much normal. My hand was shaking and my heart was racing in the Olympic final. That's fine. It's how you deal with it, and that's important. I guess you need to be willing to go deep, to really discover yourself. And I don't know how many people are willing to do that, but it's a unique way to be brutally honest with yourself. You will see with no filters all your weaknesses, all your fears, but you will also see your strength.
Yeah. Niccolo, I just wanted to lastly ask you, obviously the success in London with the gold and silver medal, but Rio 2016, obviously you were at the top of your game, gold medals both in the air rifle and the 50-meter 3-position rifle. Everything went nearly perfectly for you in Rio.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't say that. I was number one in the world before London, and in both events, and I managed, despite the pressure and the expectation, to get a gold and a silver. It's extremely proud of the way I handled those 16 days at the games. Rio was very much different. In the meantime, the International Federation changed the rules of my sport, changed completely the competition format. I really struggled with it. And as I said, I stopped being a student athlete, where that was probably the biggest mistake of my sport career. I thought that, at that point, after so many years of balancing school and sport, I could have managed myself. I didn't. I realized later that my university studies were not only compatible, but they were functional to my performance. I went to training from 4 hours to 6 hours, 8 hours.
Wow.
I completely lost track. And so when I get to Rio, I was not even in the top 20 of my in the world in my events. and then of course there was the whole Olympic experience that kicks in, and yes, I mean, in terms of sports psychology, I had to say I went through a lot. So I guess I didn't do anything special in Rio. Is that I didn't lose points, the others did. So that was pretty much it. But for me, that was very much the end of a career, and that's why, you know, sometimes rankings and medals, they say the truth. Sometimes they're misleading, and the most important thing is to know, to assess your performance, to know where you are, regardless of what other people think of you. And of course, yeah, rankings are out there; everybody can read them. But yeah, I mean, quite a journey, and once again, if it wasn't for me combining studying and sport, I would not have won that much in sport. That's 100%. I got, you know, the proof when I switched to an NCAA lifestyle. Yeah. And the counter proof when I stopped doing that. So I'm 100% sure about this. These are not just two compatible sides, these are functional to each other.
Niccolo, congratulations on an amazing career. Best of luck with the Make a Mark project. Best of luck to your two athletes in Tokyo. I'm sure it'll be an amazing experience for you, albeit a different one. And thanks for reminiscing about your Universiade experiences 10 years ago in Shenzhen, China.
Thank you all. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Niccolo. And thank you for joining us on this edition of the FISU University Legends Interview Series. Stay tuned for future editions when we once again highlight summer and winter Universiade athletes that have gone on to bigger and better things, both on and off the field of play. We'll see you next time. Have a great day, everybody.